The big stories of the day, this breaking in the last 3 hours or so, the Democratic Alliance confirming that it's going to court to challenge certain parts of the lockdowns as it's being implemented currently. The opposition party says it's going to try and overturn the night curfew, the limitation on exercise between 6 and 9 in the morning, and the ban on some parts of e-commerce sales. The DA interim leader John Steenhuisen joins me now. John, good afternoon to you. Why are you going to court?
Well, it was very clear last night after 20 days that the President has not listened to good advice that's been given to him. And we were really expecting a little bit more from him yesterday evening about opening up the economy more and getting South Africa and South Africans back to work safely so that we could get our economy moving forward. Clearly wasn't forthcoming, so we've had no choice now but to move towards ending some of the more draconian levels of the lockdown. And so we'll be launching a two-pronged court attack both today and papers being filed tomorrow to challenge the more pernicious aspects of the Act, and then also to go hard after the Disaster Management Act and its constitutionality, particularly as it relates to the lack of parliamentary oversight, the legislative oversight of the National Command Council, and what we believe is a major omission in terms of the Disaster Management Act.
Okay, so you're going to court on these three elements. You're not going to court on the cigarettes and tobacco bans, for example, on the alcohol and tobacco bans, rather.
No, we're going on the curfew. We're going on the issue around e-commerce and the absurd banning of e-commerce, and then on the limitation of exercise, and then the frontal attack on the constitutionality of the Disaster Management Bill. The Disaster Management Act will focus on its complete lack of oversight, which has given the NCC carte blanche to make laws and regulations with no input whatsoever from the legislative arm in South Africa.
So if, for example, he announced tonight or tomorrow or later in the week or in the next week that we're going to move to level 3 nationally, would that make you withdraw your action?
No, because we don't know what level 3 looks like. We were told that we were moving to level 4 and it was going to be an opening up of the economy. All level 4 turned out to be was the level 5 with a military curfew and 3 hours of exercise in the morning. It hasn't nearly been opened up enough to be able to allow South Africans to provide for themselves. We also, unless he's planning on undoing and reversing these regulations, we're going to start going after each one of them one by one. The next one is in our sights is the absurdities that were announced by Minister Ibrahim Patel on what people can buy and how they must wear clothing in South Africa. These are massive overreaches by an executive arm who shouldn't be anywhere near power the way some of them are behaving. And so we're going to systematically go after every one of them. We're starting with these three, and then, of course, the frontal attack on the Disaster Management Act. But there are going to be plenty more that follow until government starts to listen to reason and starts to deal with this virus and tackling it from an epidemiological level and not from an ideological level.
Okay, John, you say all of that. I mean, if we look at our lockdown, look at the number of cases we have in South Africa, look at other countries' lockdowns and look at the number of cases they have, I mean, it seems pretty clear. If you look at the United States, Italy, the UK, they had huge numbers of cases by this stage in their pandemic. We've got a relatively small number. It's clear evidence our lockdowns worked.
Much larger population, Stephen, and I think you're missing the point that they have gone through their spike already. Our spike is yet to come. They're testing, tracing, and tracking at far greater levels. We haven't even reached 400,000 tests here in South Africa. And so it's very, very difficult to make those comparisons. And yes, the hard lockdown of 3 weeks was the right thing to do, which is why we supported it. And we backed it. It was the right thing to do, lockdown hard, lockdown early. But a hard lockdown is not a sustainable strategy. It doesn't kill the virus, as we can see evidenced by the fact that the infection rate has increased. Many of these infections were passed on in the hard lockdown in level 5. All it does is buys you time to prepare your health response to manage the virus going forward and deal with the spike when it comes. It's not going to kill the virus, and if you keep the country in a hard lockdown like this for 18 to 24 months, there's going to be nothing left. Many, many people are going to die of starvation and malnutrition, and you're going to have massive wide-scale unemployment which will take a generation to deal with.
Are you not concerned that this is going to politicize the issue? I mean, the ANC, will speak to them in a moment, they're bound to have to come out against you. This now, literally, a court case always leads to divisions because it's an adversarial process. I realize you will say that that's the only option you have. But this is a moment we all need to work together. Aren't you now going to have a situation where some people will stand with you, some people will stand against you, and we're now going to have division?
Well, it was going to be inevitable. I mean, we haven't heard from the president for 20 days. You can't say we're all in this together and then ignore other leaders in the country and ignore advice being given. We haven't even had the courtesy of a comprehensive response to the submissions that we've made on a number of occasions. I think that you've also saw the president's spokesperson in his office, Mr. Saul Musker, launching a broadside against me and others. This week, you saw the intemperate attacks by Minister Mboweni on me last Friday evening. You saw the intemperate and frankly ill-conceived statement from the Chief Whip in Parliament on me. I think the ANC has done a very good job of driving division and playing politics here. And what we're doing now is acting in the best interest of South Africa, and we're going to do what we believe is right by the people, and that is to end this hard lockdown and to bring some sanity to the situation, because it's very clear that the ANC and the president don't want to listen to good advice and to sound reason.
John Steenhuisen, the interim leader of the Democratic Alliance, thank you very much indeed for your time.